Hey guys, it's another windy, hot one here in Wyoming. And this week I want to talk about Longhorns and what it's like having them. I'll first start by saying Longhorns they're a lot of fun. They're pretty lively, they have big personalities. And I guess at the end of the day, the big question everyone has, or at least the one that I hear the most is, how easy are they to handle? And I'm pretty lucky because my herd right here you see behind me, they're actually very easy to handle. When I first moved out here, I decided I wanted to get Longhorns because I'm not really going into the full-time cattle operation where I'm ranching for money. This is more for a hobby. And being from Texas, you hear about Texas Longhorns, and at the end of the day, I guess I just wanted them because not only are they fun to look at, but when you're up at the house and looking out across the pasture and they're playing around and scratching themselves with their big horns, and they're pretty docile. My bull back here, Ferdinand, he's pretty gentle for the most part. He likes his back rubs and his back scratches, and at the end of the day, he's pretty much like a big puppy dog. My little one over here, she was born May 30th, so she's new to the herd. But I will say, having a bull with my herd, I was a little cautious about that. I know what it's like having Angus bulls around and how they can tear stuff up pretty easily, and not every breed of cattle is the same in any regards. But my fence pasture out here, I put up a hot wire on the inside of the fence. I ran 2 strands about 16 inches apart. And the first week I had them out here, they would touch it, and because they were curious, and they figured out real quick that the fence ain't something to play with. And so I haven't had any issues with them trying to get out or trying to get over into the neighboring properties and mess with the cows over there. They've actually been really good about just staying right here in this 5 acres that I have them on. But at the end of the day, if you look behind me right here, they're curious. They'll look around and stuff, and they pretty much understand that when I'm out here, I'm here to feed them. And right before I started this video, I put some cattle cubes out here in this trough, and they came running. I'll put some of that footage in the video as well for this week. Also, if you'll come right over here with me, I'll show you kind of some of the things that I do to help keep up with them. This white stuff on the ground right here is sodium bicarbonate. I actually put it in here last week, but they get so excited, they get in there and they start tearing it up. And I got a cobalt block and a mineral block. And I'm sure some people are gonna have an opinion on what they feed and why and when. And this is my first time having Longhorns, so everything here is just kind of trial by fire. I do a lot of internet research. I had loose mineral, but they don't seem to like that loose mineral as much as the licks. And I will say also that keeping these mineral licks along with that molasses tub out there ready for them year round, they've always got it. Between that, the hay, the cattle cubes, and any other supplements that I give them, it's amazing how they turn into big puppy dogs. They know that I'm always going to have things for them to eat, fresh water. They don't seem to really be too curious about roaming around anywhere else except this little 5 acres that I have them on. I do have another 17 acres fenced off, but I don't have any hot wire ran because I've only got horses and a donkey out there. And I really want to get some hot wire ran because my neighbors have cattle, and I don't want Ferdinand here to get a little too curious and try to jump the fence. I want them to respect the fence lines, and I'm more old school. I know they have wireless collars that you can put on and kind of create an invisible fence and boundary. But I know those things, they probably have to take batteries or a charge, and I really don't feel like swapping those out. To me, it's a lot easier just to get the work done, put your hot fence up, either run it off solar, or if you have electricity, plug it in, and it'll always be there. You know where the fence is at. And also, these cattle, the day that I got them out here, I didn't realize how much hay they would actually go through. And for anybody that doesn't know, just imagine feeding a horse. Let's say a horse eats 25 pounds of hay a day. They're going to eat anywhere from 3 to 5 times that amount. These guys will, 3 Longhorns, in my experience, will demolish a 1,250 pound round bale in about 2 weeks. And that same round bale will last me 3 horses 4 to 5 weeks. So all things being the same, I will say that cattle eat a lot more than horses. And now I do have 2 of them that are growing, so that does add to it. But like I said, she was born almost 3 months ago, so she wasn't even a part of the herd. I just had these 3, and these 3 cattle would eat as much hay in 1 week as 8 of my horses. But yeah, being in Wyoming though, I have to get brucellosis vaccinations for my cattle. And that's a little bit of a new thing for me. I've never had to do that before. It's really not hard to do, but it's pretty interesting because they'll tattoo their ear after they give them the vaccination. And I think they call it a bangs. I'm sure it's brucellosis and other things. I have my local vet take care of that for me. But anyway, they're pretty easy to work with. I will say that they're kind of weird in the sense that their natural instinct is to, if I'm trying to, let's say I'm trying to push them west down a fence line, they'll actually stand their ground and look right at you. So you'll have to just kind of stand there and be patient, and they'll eventually turn around and you can just kind of slowly follow them. But if you pressure them too much, Longhorns will jump, and they're really good at it. I've not had them jump a fence here on this property, but I have the gentleman that I had transport him up here for me. He had them on his property, and one of his ranch hands was kind of pressuring them too hard to get into a trailer. And the mama right here, Olive, she actually jumped clear over a fence right into a horse pasture. She didn't want to go in the trailer, and they are fairly easy to train. You know, I'm sure you've seen videos of the Stampede in Fort Worth and the stockyards, and they'll walk Longhorns right down the middle of the road, and they're pretty tame, and they don't try to hurt anybody or anything. But their horns, I can't really tell for sure how wide she is. Ferdinand, you can tell his comes forward and curves up, so he's not super wide, but they use those things a lot for swatting flies away or scratching their backs. It's pretty fun to watch them lay on the ground scratching their backs with their big horns, and it looks like they need to be sprayed again. I've been on top of the flies this year pretty good, but Ferdinand's getting some there on his back. This young lady right here, that's Pearl. So we got Pearl, Ferdinand, Olive, and I haven't named the calf yet. But Pearl here, her horns are really starting to spread. Now, just for reference, Olive over here is about, I think she's 3 years old. And Pearl is Olive's daughter, and she is about 1.5 years, I think. Maybe closer to 2. And you can see her horns are really starting to kind of curl and get some shape to them. But when I first purchased her, they were, I don't know, 6 inches long, and probably right now they're about 14 to 16 inches. I don't really measure them that often. I just kind of eyeball it. And the baby over here, who, like I said, was born May 30th, so she's, I don't know, less than 3 months. September 1st, I think she'll be right around 3 months old, but she's got little buttons on top of her head that are growing pretty quickly. When she was born, she just had a couple of little black spots, and now she's got little 1-inch nubs. So yeah, that's all I got for this week. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the ranch next week.